Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is HAZIQAH binti MOHAMMED HATTA. Number matric 072589. So I would like to explain about page 370 until 374. So at the beginning of his intellectual journey, Friedrich Nietzsche placed great hope in art. He believed that art could revive an age of heroism, strength, and vitality in human life. However, Nietzsche later became deeply disappointed with art as it failed to fulfill this promise. As a result, he turned to science and philosophy as alternative intellectual refuge. Similar to the philosopher Spinoza, Nietzsche adopted a rational approach by carefully analyzing his own emotion and inner experiences with philosophical precision. So next is about illness, suffering, and his view of life. During his youth, Nietzsche suffered from severe physical and mental illness. This prolonged suffering brought him close to death and led him to a profound reflection on life itself. From this experience, Nietzsche develops a deep love for life, as well as an acceptance of necessity and fate, a concept known as determinism and afority. For Nietzsche, true greatness does not lie in merely enduring fate, but in loving it. Nevertheless, despite embracing this idea intellectually, Nietzsche struggled to achieve inner peace in his own life. So the next is God is dead. When Nietzsche proclaimed that God is dead, he was not simply rejecting the existence of God. Instead, he was highlighting the collapse of traditional moral and value system rooted in religion. With the decline of this value, humanity lost its sense of direction and purpose. Nietzsche therefore urged human beings to remain faithful to earthly life rather than placing their hopes in distant heavenly promise. Next, lastly, Nietzsche believed that modern humanity is experiencing a profound existential crisis. The old God has died, yet a new purpose has not yet emerged. This condition leaves humanity suspense between these laws of old values and the absence of new ones. Therefore, Nietzsche posed a fundamental question that remains relevant today. Does humanity...
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On page 375, there are several important points on this page. The first point is here, Nietzsche feared that every reader might imagine himself to be the long-awaited Übermensch. Therefore, he declared that the Übermensch has not yet been born. Nietzsche also said that happiness was not created for us, it was created for the Übermensch alone. On this page, also said about morality heroism. Firstly, Nietzsche adopted Zarathustra as a gospel, so that his subsequent works were little more than explanation of it and commentaries upon it. And Europe was nevertheless able to understand his prose, even if it did not readily appreciate his poetry. Secondly, Zarathustra appeared strange to people, leading them to turn away from both the work and its author. And even his closest friend and fellow scholars disavowed him. On page 376 until 377, first point, Fried willed that the philosophy as solution should be complete. His sister, who had lightened the burden of his life, left him in order to marry a man who detested Nietzsche for his view. Secondly, Nietzsche, however, preferred the life of the mind to bodily well-being and refused to leave Germany, where the intellectual struggle was at a height, declaring that he could not dispense with Europe, for it was, in his view, like a cultural museum. Thirdly, yet he was unable to enjoy what he desired, for his diseased eyes could not endure the sunlight. Next, there are therefore two conflicting evolutions of human conduct. That is, two perspectives in morality, and the morality of master and the morality of the masses. The first stage of this decline in the glorification of mercy, self-sacrifice, and feeling of sympathy for criminal. For this represents society's inability to eliminate what is harmful to its structure. On page 378, first point means compassion is a form of paralysis, for through it we lose part of our emotional strength. With a we expand upward page up creature from whom no reform can be hoped. Second point means we lavish it upon the weak, the defective, the weak, the sick, and the criminal. Third point means, moreover, compassion contains an element of harshness and aggressions. Your visit to your sick neighbor is an impulse of superiority by which you seek to behold with your own eyes the helplessness of your friend.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is RAHIROSLEN SUHAILA binti Muhammad Ibrahim, matrix number 072573. Now I will continue the presentation from pages 378 to 380. I was having summarized this content and focusing on three main themes according to my understanding, insyaAllah. Okay, the first one is Al-Akhlaq wal-Iradah lil-Quwwah. Morality as a will to power is fundamental. Nietzsche argues that even love is Raghbah bil imtilak, which is desire for possession. Courtship is like a combat and marriage represents dominance. Even the love of truth, Hubbul Haqiqah, is a form of desire to possess it. For example, a researcher may want to be its first owner, awalun malikun laha. Importantly, humans first desire and then try to justify logically, but they do not start with logic. Next, the second theme is about al-wara'is wal-idrak al-aqli, instinct and rational awareness. Our ar-raghabat al-batiniyah, inner desires, shape our thoughts. Conscious thinking or at-tafkir al-wa'i is often weak because al-wara'is, instinct, are the highest form of intelligence. Strong individuals rarely hide their desires. For example, their simple logic is ana uridu or I want, and desire is self-justifying. However, modern Jewish Christian democratic values can make even the strong ashamed of their strength, leading them to search for reasons to justify what they want. Okay, number 3 is Al-Fadilah Al-Hayawiyah wal-Akhlaq Biologiyah. Aristocratic virtue is disappearing and European morality now often serves the masses. Difference in social function require difference in qualities, which is al-quswa wal-anfu, cruelty and violence are necessary for the strong, while kindness and peace, al-tayyibah was-salam, are necessary for the weak. True personalities emerge in times of danger, where strength of will and emotional firmness are essential. Humanity must balance by khairun wa syarrun, good and evil. Focusing only on goodness can lead to stagnation. Morality should be based on biological value measured by activity, capacity, strength and physical condition. Finally, what I can say is democracy without heroic values risks life losing all meaning. To progress, humans must recognize their will to power, quwwah al-iradah, and natural instincts while balancing good and evil in society. In conclusion, Nietzsche teaches that power, desire, and instinct are central of life and morality, while reason and conventional ethics are tools to serve this instinct. Recognizing this allows humanity to progress without being constrained by outdated ideas. That's all. Thank you.